Hello there, Dr. Joseph Martin again. Our topic now is self responsibility and self reliance to create a truer democracy. Now, democracy is an issue that has been around for a while, starting about 2300, 2400 years ago in ancient Greece. It was a social experiment that lasted just a little while, and then it hadn't been around since the Dark Ages after the fall of Rome. It's something quite new to our Western history and now our global history, only within the last few hundred years, spawned in some way by not really the industrial age or the technological age, but more through the Enlightenment, the Renaissance that started in Italy and other parts of Europe, that created a whole new sense of possibilities of higher knowledge and higher wisdom that was actually being brought back from ancient Greece and Rome and Egypt and the library in Alexandria set up by Ptolemy I. This enlightenment of the last 200-300 years here in the West has allowed us to come forward with a whole new sense of what a new social political experiment could be. And the question is, how are you feeling about it? Whether you live in Canada or America or any other nation in the world, the Western world, or in the Arab world or the Third World, all the indigenous peoples of the world, you might feel the same way that most of us are feeling, which is that the society today, the possibilities for our life experience are really not all that we had hoped for or dreamed for, and that there are certain blockages and limitations to what we can experience as true global citizens and what we would want to be a democracy. Whether it's the fact that you're not able to afford to go to a higher education, or you don't have enough water or food or clothes or shelter, and you're always just doing menial jobs in order to make a bit of money for yourself or your family, or the fact that there are a lot of social issues around the wealthy getting wealthier and the poor getting poorer, the middle class worldwide being diminished, or there's just issues around the availability of natural resources like fresh, clean drinking water and not having to pay for it, or not having to sell it out to some other transnational corporation, which also goes for food and seeds and grains and products and even services. So that, along with global climate change, and we have other issues around some past previous wars very recently, too numerous to mention, and lots of feelings of anxiety, I think, for most of us, if we're honest with ourselves about what is happening on the planet politically, transnationally with the corporations and all the banking changes and scams that we've seen, and also just all sorts of other issues around possibilities of future um, transnational actions that might be really deleterious to our own human survival into the future. Is it possible that human nature and us and individuals and as a species need to mature a little bit more spiritually and psychologically and emotionally, and give up some of our petty selfishnesses and try to understand that the only way any of us are going to get forward is that if all of us work together and try to create a new global emerging society? Well, the good news is there is worldwide, almost in a leaderless way, a new emerging global social political consciousness that will have ramifications now and in the future. We have the Arab Spring, we have the European Spring, we have young people of the millennial generation and older middle class people and even elderly people who are without work and without money, without ways to support themselves, without means for higher education. And so there is this worldwide longing and yearning for greater freedom and greater liberation. And as you know, liberation is always and only by the people who need to do it for themselves and do it as a group worldwide. Well, the issues are global, and we all share these issues. No longer do we work in small little groups around water or food or gay, lesbian rights or women's rights or colored rights or ethnic rights or any of these issues. All of us need to be working together now to support a new global change for a truer democracy worldwide. And obviously, the only way all of us are going to get together is if it becomes an international unity and a movement that is from the inside out, from people feeling anxiety and the need for some kind of freedom and change. Now, the good news is we have some mentors along the way have supported us and given us some great promise and leadership and visions. And these would be people like Tolstoy and Gandhi, Martin Luther King, and certainly Bob Marley, who exhorted us to get up, stand up, stand up for our rights. And I can see that people all around the world of every age and background are doing just that. And of course, this is the way to move forward into our liberating future. Also, recent we have the true experience of the Great Long Walk for Freedom and to Freedom that Nelson Mandela showed us that within South Africa, and now potentially and hopefully we can move forward and do it for the world, that through sisterhood and brotherhood for all different various groups coming together, ethnic groups, religious groups, different factions politically and socially, skin colors of all different backgrounds, we can move together forward and create a great global peace. Now, it is inevitable, hopefully, with our human adaptability, that we can and will do this, notwithstanding that there are some barriers that we need to cross, many rivers to cross, and also many challenges within ourselves and outside to do as well. The first step is always that it happens one person at a time. Whatever it takes inside you to find your true identity. Your true identity is an eternal, immortal soul. To find the strength and confidence and self-worth that comes from recognizing and living your true nature and what you uniquely can bring to the rest of the world that no one else can bring. We need you to be here all for yourself, all now for us as well. So one of the ways for self-responsibility and self-reliance is to find your truer nature, and also in service and support, in loving kindness and goodness to all the people around you, and in fact globally as well. This is what's going to bring us all together and make us move forward as one global family. I'd like to say that there's new choices, there's new possibilities, new changes, and that there is a global emerging consciousness coming up for all of us. We can all co-participate and co-create in this. And democracy starts when you give yourself the freedom to be yourself. Whoever you need to be that's unique to you, give yourself the liberating possibility and fulfillment of becoming all you can be now. And also with all your neighbors, friends, strangers, and even enemies, so-called enemies, they deserve to have their right life. We're all evolving and co-evolving together. So this is the message for today: self-responsibility, self-reliance, giving you courage, and giving us all a sense that we can work together at the new freedom, the new liberation movement that is happening worldwide. It's kind of an exciting adventure for each of us. It's kind of new. We're co-participating in this. I wish you well and all the great choices you're making for yourself, and all liberation and good feelings towards you. I wish you all well. Om Namah Shivaya.